Hey, this is Phil, Animal Mentality, bringing you another episode of Animal Pakcast, Animal's new podcast. And here with me today is Derek Lunsford. And today we're going to talk about some ideas. And I love episodes like this where we talk about ideas because, you can take those ideas and then use them as tools to transform your own life. And as any champion will tell you, and Derek is a champion, he has a certain mindset and a certain way of approaching life that has allowed him to achieve the success that he has. And so, Derek, welcome once again to Animal Pakcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Last one was fun. I'm excited to be here again. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
But while I have you here in front of me, let me ask you this question. I'm trying to eat clean and I'm trying to figure out how many grams of protein and what protein sources should I be eating? I know you get that question a lot, right?
Yeah. So to be honest with you, that shit doesn't even matter unless you have the right mindset.
You broke my heart. It's not about the grams of chicken.
We can come back to that in a minute if you want, but it all starts with the right mindset, because if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to persevere when times are tough. And believe me, in bodybuilding, there's a lot more tough times than easy times. So I would rather, if it's cool with you, we could talk about more about the mindset of...
Yeah, that's the key.
Okay. All right, cool.
The mindset is the champion's mindset.
And then we'll talk about how to grow the biceps.
Oh, awesome, because that's something I also need help with.
Okay.
But yeah, all the great champions have something. And also they have a way of structuring their lives and their thinking to achieve that something. And I know, that you're different than other athletes, but you have the same mindset. And the three things that I'm really interested to hear more about from you today are these ideas of passion, calling, and purpose. And each one is different, but each builds upon the other, and it helps shape and guide your life. Is that right?
So yeah, you must be hearing me say that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are definitely the three things that I focus mostly on a daily basis. And yeah, you can apply this to anything. I mean, I apply it to bodybuilding in my life. And that's what I say is like, whatever you're passionate about, pursue it and apply these to whatever it is. If it's art, if it's... whatever, man,
Well, here's a question I get a lot too, which is, how do you know what your passion is? Is that something that you're born with or something you develop, or where does the passion come from?
The more and more I think about it, the passion, one, I think is partially given to you. I talk a lot about my faith in Christ, right? And I think the passion is one partially given by a higher power, and but also you can't overlook influence either. So as you're a kid growing up, or even as an adult, influences around you might make you more passionate about one thing versus another. But I think that let's backtrack just a second. I think what you're talented in, what you're naturally good at,
based on your genetics, your height, your skills, fast twitch, slow twitch muscles.
And before we get too crazy, let's let the viewers understand that this is about to be a really deep conversation. So
deep is good for me.
Be prepared to really think deeply, and I'll try. If I get too deep, I'll try to pull it back and then go back again. Okay, so passion, right? I think that it's driven a lot by your talent, your natural abilities that you're good at. Now, let's not get that mistaken with skill. Skill is developed over time. That's over repetition of day in, day out, doing what you do. Me, it's bodybuilding. So day after day, I'm developing a skill compounded on top of my talent. Now, I'm passionate about this. One, I think because I'm good at it. And two, probably because of the influences of my life. With the last episode, we talked about my mother, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so my mother, I remember from an early age, she was always doing like home workout videos, and she was always on some sort of diet plan, some fad at the time, recently it was the keto diet. And, so she's always done some sort of diet. She's always been concerned about being healthy and working out. And so obviously that had a huge influence on me to be passionate about the same thing. Whereas I was naturally gifted with a talent of bodybuilding, right? Good genetics. And then that's where we lead into the purpose.
Okay.
Calling.
Yeah. Well, let me back up a second just so that the listeners are clear what you're saying. So it sounds like you're saying that passion, it's like nature and nurture, right? In other words, you're born with part of it and another part of it you gain through experience.
Right.
Okay, so it's a combination.
Correct. Yeah.
And that the basis for this passion is talent, and also skill, something you work at, and something, again, that maybe you're predisposed to. And I was thinking about the last time we talked, and I think you were elementary or middle school, and you wanted to be an NBA pro, but your height prohibited it.
I knew I was the next Michael Jordan. I was the white Michael Jordan. Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Actually, by the way, side note, I actually went to the same college as Larry Bird.
Oh, you're kidding?
Indiana State, yeah.
Oh, nice. So that's the talent part, right? And you realized, well, at my height, I'm never going to be a superstar in basketball.
Right.
And so maybe I need to develop a passion elsewhere. Is that right?
Right. Well, you can't really, I don't think you can develop a passion.
Okay.
That's the thing. You can develop skill. I don't think you can develop talent.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think you can develop passion.
Okay.
You have to be self-aware to find your passion.
How do you find it then?
So just what I was saying was like, you got to think about like, what do you like? Like, what would you like to do? If you had no obligations in your life, when you woke up every morning, you woke up and you're like, okay, I like to read books every day, or I like to write books every day. Awesome. That must be something you must be good at, and that you're naturally talented in, or that must be your passion there. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's like if I had nothing else to do in my life, I know I'm going to the gym to train. Every day I wake up, I know that I'm going to the gym to train because I love it, whether I'm competing or not.
Becomes second nature, right?
It's just what I do every single day. So I'm passionate about it, and I think it's driven because I was good at it. Talented naturally,
right. And you worked hard developing the skill.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then the influence, like I said, at an early age too, as well.
So maybe a good exercise for anyone out there listening is maybe one day wake up in the morning, and maybe it's Saturday. You don't have to go to work. You sit and you think about it. Right? What would I want to do today if I had no?
Let's not get mistaken here, because I think a lot of people go, well, I'd love to just sip margaritas on the beach. You know what I mean?
And that can't
or Corona
be
if you're a Corona guy.
A passion. Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if you're passionate about it and you're good at it.
Maybe you start your own brewing house or, right. So it's something that you'll sort of pretty much be able to figure out, is what you're saying.
I think it's a lot simpler than people realize when you really start to like be self-aware. And I'm gonna keep saying self-aware.
What do you mean by it exactly?
Being self-aware is just, holding yourself to the fire.
Okay.
And in a good way and in a bad way. So meaning like, who am I? What character do I have? What are my morals? What are my ethics? What do I do on a daily basis? Like who am I as a person?
Like a self-critique on a regular basis.
On a daily basis, who am I? Because we're being influenced 24/7, positively and negatively, by the world around us. So we're constantly evolving and changing on a daily basis, whether we like it or not. So being self-aware, we're able to be a little bit more in control of who we are and where we're going with our life.
And when you do this process, do you focus on both the positives and the negatives, or just the positives, or just the negatives?
You should recognize both. You should recognize both, but you should allow both to influence in a positive way. So that's why I always say I see opportunity in negative just as much as I see it in positive. So recognize both, because you can't lie. You can't lie to yourself. If there's a negative,
a lot of people can.
If there's a negative there, then it's okay. You should recognize it, but you should. So I'll give you an example. Okay. Actually, there's times where I don't want to be in the gym. Actually, where I'm run down and I don't want to do my cardio because I am dead tired.
Okay.
Let's say 3-4 weeks out from a show, but knowing that overcoming that struggle is going to make me better. That matters more than anything to me. If that makes sense.
That's part of that champion's mindset, right? That psychology.
Right. Right.
And so this self-awareness, it sounds a lot like you are a very introspective individual. But in life, the people I run into, many of them aren't that introspective. How can you develop this? The self-awareness, this self-critique?
Well, for me, I don't like to drift through life not knowing what to expect.
So you've hopefully found a passion, and it's based on some inherent talent that you have and hard work, which is the skill and work you put into it. And then you get to calling. And I'm going to guess, Derek, that the calling is just more than just what you do, your job, your profession. Is that right?
Yeah. I would say primarily it is what you do.
Your identity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want to move too quickly on the purpose because that is completely different than your calling.
Sure.
So since I'm here and it's easy for me to explain my life, I've understood that I have a talent and I've developed skill for my passion of bodybuilding, which competing in the IFBB Pro League and on the Olympia stage, that is my calling.
So pro bodybuilding, competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah, that was what I was called to do, right? So just like Michael Jordan, like we were saying earlier, he was called to be a bodybuilder, or it's called to be a NBA superstar, right? So we all have a calling to do something in life. Now the purpose.
Whoa, yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me ask because I think some clarification might be necessary. So right now I'm talking to you, and let's hypothetically say, I'm a podcaster. Yeah. And let's hypothetically say I hate podcasting and I hate having to sit here and talk to you.
Sure.
Would that still qualify as my calling? I'm a podcaster, or no? Does something else have to be part of this idea of calling? For example,
if you
passion.
hate it, then you're not passionate about it, are you?
Okay. So that's the difference for you.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be passionate about it. I mean, I'm not saying you have to enjoy every single day of doing what you do, but there has to be a passion behind what you do.
I gotcha. So, in other words, if there is no passion, then let's say it's a regular 9-to-5 job that you hate, that's drudgery, that you just have to do because you need the paycheck. That is not a calling.
Then you're not fulfilling your life's purpose. And you're not doing your calling.
Okay. So the calling is something more than just your professional identity. It's something that, in theory, you should really be passionate about. Is that right?
I think you're not living.
Yeah.
If you're not pursuing your calling.
Yeah, and that's tough for I think that's where most of us get hung up, right? Which is that we may not always be doing what we're truly passionate about, but yet we're stuck in it and you can't get out. So what kind of advice do you have for those people? Change jobs, change lives, change marriages? What?
I'm going to say this. Don't make any drastic decisions today.
That's good advice.
Don't quit your job today. Look, people will see me where I am today. Oh, he's got the life. He's traveling. He's a bodybuilder. He doesn't have to work a 9-to-5. Well, look, man, I was working a 9-to-5, grinding it out and competing until I got here. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of legwork you have to do to finally get to where you want to be in a little bit more comfortable position, right? So thankfully, I went all in and things happened a little bit faster for me than some people. But I don't want people to think, okay, you should go quit your job because you're not doing what you're called to do. No, there's obviously responsibility in life. You might probably have a family, or at least take care of yourself.
Right.
So, but identifying the passion and the calling, once you can identify that, which, like I said, I think is a lot more simple than people realize, and then you start to work in that direction. So you hear a lot of motivational people that are so-called successful in their own endeavors say, you might work a 9-to-5 for someone else, but then you go home and you don't even work for yourself. You're not working on anything to improve your life. That's the difference, is that the people that are so-called successful and doing what they love to do and you look up to them, oh, they're living the life. Yeah, well, it's because they did the legwork. They had to, grind it out and do things they didn't want to do to get to where they wanted to be, to pursue their calling. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it sounds, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, it sounds like your ideas there's a little bit of luck, but the harder you work and the more effort you put into it, the more talent you have, you make your own luck.
I don't believe in luck at all. There is no luck in this world. You prepare for opportunity.
All contingencies?
You prepare for opportunity. If the opportunity presents itself and you're not prepared, it'll slip out of your hands. Okay? So getting prepared first, which is why you develop the skill from your talent. Mm-hmm. Okay? So when the opportunity comes, you can capitalize.
So as far as your calling goes as a pro bodybuilder, you made sure, leading up to every show, right? Not just last weekend's Olympia, that you are going to make sure everything is prepped and ready to go.
Absolutely.
And then...
And we could talk about that in business. Mm-hmm. We can talk about that in anything.
Well, how would you, let's say, apply this approach or your thinking to the business world, for example?
Well, I mean, just in anything. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I think it's most people I think that follow me are probably around my age or maybe a little bit younger. Uh-huh. So they're probably in college.
All right.
You know, I would say that going to college, you're getting prepared to do what you're called to do once you get out, right?
That's the idea. I don't know how realistic it is.
That's the ideal.
Yeah. Right.
So getting prepared by learning and gaining knowledge and experience so that when the opportunity arises, you can capitalize. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if I'm presented with a 6-figure salary job that is my dream job, but I didn't do what it took to prepare myself for that opportunity, then you're not going to have it.
Yeah. So it's
No, I know exactly. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. But the thing is I can sit here and say it all day, but to put it into practice, that's what's difficult.
The challenge,
That's the challenge. And,
right.
And that's what I've always believed is like these concepts to life are just so simple, but hard to do.
That's right. And I think it's hard not because people lack the willpower or the motivation or the willingness to work, but sometimes people just don't know how to get started. And I think this conversation will hopefully help people understand how to get started, right? And your last comment, I was thinking about Edison and what he said, right, which is great ideas or something like that. It's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration, which is all about what you're saying. It's the hard work, the preparation and effort you put in so that you increase the likelihood you'll succeed.
Right. We can get you motivated for, a couple minutes, but what happens when you're not motivated? That perseverance is what matters. The pushing through the grind, that's what's going to take you to the next level. Yeah.
I think that's a really nice and elegant way of thinking about it too, right? Mm-hmm. Which is some days you're motivated to go to the gym or do whatever it is you're passionate about and do it. But what really defines you are those days, those moments when you have no motivation at all. What do you do then?
I call that the opportunity.
The opportunity.
You can use the motivation on the days you feel good to go and bust it, right? Mm-hmm. And you can push yourself hard. But anybody can have a good workout or do something that's that they want to do, right? But but to do something you don't want to do because it's necessary to take you to where you want to go, that's what separates champions versus someone that's not living their calling.
So this idea of opportunity, as you call it, is that something that can be developed like a skill, or you either have it or you don't?
What's that now, sir?
So this idea of opportunity where, for example, even when you have low motivation, the champions will always go train. Yeah. Is that something that can be developed, or you're just born with it, or you're not?
You can develop it, I think. People argue that, say, "Oh, you're either born with it or not." I disagree. I think you can absolutely raise your standard day in, day out, and that's what I was saying. Nothing ever gets easier. You just get tougher. So that just proves that you can absolutely develop a tougher mindset, tougher work ethic.
Right.
And that goes back to being self-aware.
Well, it's like you were saying, 4 weeks out from a show, your ass is dragging, you don't want to go train, you're feeling down, but yet you do because you see an opportunity and you take it.
Well, look at this. The first year I competed, all I was thinking about is, God, this cardio sucks. I don't want to go train. Oh my God, I feel terrible. I can't wait to have a cheat meal. Oh my gosh, let's stock up, pile these snacks for after the show. I can't wait to eat. Well, nothing has really changed as far as like the work that I have to put in. But I don't care about any of that stuff anymore. I don't care how I feel now. So nothing has changed. I just got tougher. So yeah, you can absolutely develop a tougher mindset.
And it sounds like a part of it is just sticking to something long enough where you get stronger, right?
Yes.
Is that
through perseverance
and patience?
Perseverance and be a patient go-getter.
Yeah, that's got to be the hardest thing, though, right? Being patient and not wanting results soon enough. Because in the society that we live in, right, everyone wants results right away.
Be patient, but give 100% every day.
And how do you do that? How do you do that?
Well, then that's when you really define your purpose.
So that's the third concept.
That is the key. That is the key point. I focus 100% on my purpose every single day.
And so if we have passion, which is the thing that maybe you were born with, the thing that you learned and you develop it through talent and skill, then you reach a calling that you are passionate about. And how does calling then fit in with your idea of purpose? What is purpose?
Right. So the calling that for me is clearly to be a professional bodybuilder.
Right.
That's not my purpose. My purpose is to inspire and motivate people to do what they're passionate about and follow these so-called guidelines, right? That I'm explaining. So if I can encourage you and inspire you and motivate you to find your passion and your calling and then find your purpose, you're going to help someone else do the same thing. So really, we're all just inspiring each other and motivating each other to make the world a better place. When you're living your calling and you're wholeheartedly giving everything you have in your life to be the best you can be at that calling, then not only is your life fulfilled, but everyone else around you is going to have a better life, and everyone else is going to benefit because of your hard work.
And this sounds like it's a part of your purpose. And
that is purpose in general.
Oh, okay.
My purpose is, I just explained. My purpose is to inspire people. So, yep.
So would it be fair to say that purpose for you is about the actual manifestation or expression of your calling, the action of your calling?
Right. Well, the action of my calling is, I would say, competing.
Doing the prep and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But the purpose behind it is, so for example, I mean, we talked about in the last podcast about the Olympia this past weekend. So, my goal, the thing I was striving to achieve is the Olympia title.
Right.
I did not achieve that this past weekend. I placed second. However, my purpose is being fulfilled more with this second place than had I got first.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. How so? Explain that.
Well, because I'm able to impact more people. And the thing is don't get me wrong, man, I've been upset and devastated about, not earning that time. Like, it sucks, man. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I've been beating myself up for it. But at the same time, like, moving forward, because that's what I have to do, moving forward, I know I'm going to be a better person because of it. I'm going to be a better bodybuilder because of it. And not to mention, I'm able to impact more people's lives this past weekend and moving forward because of the outcome.
Is that what happened this past weekend when you came in second, that you found out that you made a greater impact on the people around you?
That's why I went from being upset for myself, placing second, to more or less I was upset that I couldn't do it for the people that supported me. But then I realized that, wow, like, this is a huge community that I didn't even realize that is supporting me, and we're all coming together and building this camaraderie that I've always dreamed of building. And everyone's, I don't know, just this past weekend showed me a lot that earning that title is something I still have yet to achieve,
right,
and expect to achieve in the future.
Right.
But my purpose is being fulfilled more after this weekend because of the second than had I got first.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to think about it.
So therefore, we're winning.
Yeah.
We're winning, guys.
See, I remember the last time we talked, you were explaining how you had joined a frat when you were in college. And I guess not too many people know about that.
By the way, it's fraternity.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fraternity. And that what you were looking for was this sense of community and brotherhood, but that you had to give it up because of other commitments.
Right.
And so it sounds like what you have today is that community, that brotherhood, but you were able to fashion it the way you wanted to and the way you envisioned it.
Right. I'm glad that I brought up the whole fraternity thing, but I don't want people to get mistaken. I really didn't participate much in it. Like I really just was I wasn't even really in it, basically. But yeah, I did join for the Brotherhood because I've always wanted to have some camaraderie with some with like-minded, driven people, and I found that through bodybuilding.
Yeah. So I'm sure you get this a lot, right, Derek? That people who've heard about you or know about some of your beliefs and ideas, they think. This guy's full of shit. He can't be this positive. He can't have this kind of optimistic outlook on life, right? And they can't believe it. Is that right?
Yeah. And at first I was kind of bothered by it when I first came onto the scene. I was like, why does nobody believe me? Like I'm putting myself out there and you don't believe me? Okay. But then I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? I'm just getting started. There's gonna be many, many years for my true colors to shine. And so I'm not worried because 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, people will see that this is who I am, and so I'm not worried.
Well, I think for me, at least, this conversation about passion, calling, and purpose, it gives a greater background and context to the way you think about things. And, your example of how even if you come in second, you might be disappointed or devastated, but that in the end, it made a greater impact to the people around you. And that really fits into your vision, right?
100%. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it still sucks.
Right.
I mean, I would love to have that trophy on my wall and, I'd love to have my name engraved in history like that, but it'll come. There'll be time.
So, for a lot of people, finding a passion is hard. And then it's also hard to channel that passion into a true calling.
Well, you know why? Before you even say anything, I think it's just, in general, people don't like to look at themselves and think about who am I? They don't even think.
Why is that?
I think people are scared. I think people are scared to see the flaws in themselves. And for me, I love to see my flaws. I love constructive criticism. That's the most important thing for me. That's the only way to get better in anything in life, whether it be bodybuilding or you as a person. Constructive criticism, if you can just be strong enough minded to hold yourself to the fire and go, okay, well, this is where I can improve as a person, or this is where I can improve as a businessman or a professional or a bodybuilder or whatever. If you can just be more self-aware, then yeah, I think it's pretty simple to find your passion.
So going back to this concept of self-awareness that we were talking about a little bit earlier, I think you're right. Most people, they go through life with these walls up and they only want to, represent the best parts of themselves.
Well, and not even that. I think people just don't even think, and they just want to go have fun and just live life comfortably and easy. And whatever's easiest, most comfortable and fun in life. And usually that means, I hate to say it this way, but working a 9 to 5, going home and maybe go out on the weekend, party or something. I don't know. But
yeah. Well, so look, I'm thinking about the example of social media and Instagram or something like that. And the people who go through great lengths to represent themselves as if they are having the best time of their lives and if they're the greatest people. And it's sort of what you're talking about, right? Which
usually
is this fear, right?
Yeah.
It's this fear of really acknowledging their weaknesses, because who has a popular Instagram page where a guy or a gal is talking about how weak or how worthless they are? Nobody, right?
Right.
And so it sounds like one of the first steps to this kind of self-realization is to let down that wall and to acknowledge you have weaknesses and to accept and embrace it. Does that sound about right?
Totally, 100%. I mean, I think that a true champion can embrace anything, the positives, the negatives, everything. I am first a realist, and then I'm an optimist. Okay, I acknowledge what's fact, and then I'm optimistic about the future and where I'm moving forward from it.
Do you think it's possible to achieve this purpose that each of us has without first taking that step and saying, you know what, I need to assess my life and see where I'm falling short?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, how can you grow? How can you grow and improve if you're not looking at your flaws?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying daily you need to be focused on what your flaws are. I mean that could also be detrimental too. You should also be proud of who you are.
Your strengths,
be happy with
and your weaknesses.
Absolutely. So that's why we've talked a lot in these couple podcasts about negativity and this and that and whatever, and overcoming adversities and stuff like that. But I really rarely even focus on that. I acknowledge it, but I always focus on the positivities.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I meant about, recognizing the negative and being a realist.
Right.
But saying, okay, moving forward, how do I want to react to this? And who do I want to be because of it?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is you have to be willing to accept the brutal facts about who you are and your weaknesses, but yet have the optimism to know you can change it and then start going about changing it.
If you want to. That's the thing.
Yeah,
if you want to,
right?
Because most people don't want to.
And why do you think that is? If
it beats me, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
They're lazy. The society trains them. What?
Maybe I'm the crazy one here.
No. I think right. The reason I'm talking to you is because you have some insights on how to raise yourself up and elevate yourself, and we're all looking to do that. And so getting into your mind about how you do that, I think is really interesting. So
I guess I have it easy, though. I have to say, no,
What
really.
do you mean?
I'm sitting here thinking about it. Maybe I have it easy because I am so blessed by the people around me. It's that I have such a great support group, and it's everywhere I go. Whether it be my friends and family back home, or whether it be animal. Look, every single person this weekend that was at the animal booth. I'm not talking the fans that come up. Of course, they're going to say, "Wow, congrats," whatever. But everybody that works here at Animal that was at the animal booth at the expo said, "I am proud of you. We are proud of you."
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Come on. I'm winning, man. I have if I stopped bodybuilding today, God, I have such a great life because of the people in my life. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying. I have it easy because I can just be happy and content with my life today with the people that are in it.
So, you raise a really interesting and probably challenging question, right? And that is based on how you sort of see yourself, see the world and what's important and how you become great at something. Mm-hmm. Right now it's bodybuilding. There's no doubt about it. But if tomorrow you couldn't do it anymore, what would you do? How would you channel that passion, find a new calling, and then figure out how to express your purpose?
Oh boy.
Right?
I would find a way.
I'm sure you would.
I don't know. And I hope that I never have to answer that question. God willing, I stay healthy and things, continue to go the way they are. But I know me. I know that no matter what in life, I'm gonna find a positive outlet. Yeah,
and I think it's part of that mindset of the champion, right? Mm-hmm. And that is, it's not necessarily just one thing, mm-hmm. and that one thing could be replaced by another, but it's the way you approach life and what you want for yourself and what you want for people around you. So even if you weren't a bodybuilder, I'm positive you'd find a way to still...
I think shortcomings, failures, mm-hmm. and things like that are devastating in life really bring out the best in a person if they're willing to face the facts. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's something really tragic or just something small, I think that has a bigger impact on the person themselves, meaning me and the people around them, or rather than any successes and of that sort, So, but I don't know.
Yeah. So, if I were to say Derek Lunsford, how would he summarize his purpose in life? How would Derek Lunsford? How would you do it?
Simply put, I'm here to inspire people and motivate people, which
mm-hmm.
you and I talked. We said those are two different things. Inspiring someone is
this feeling, right?
Yeah, it's more of like an emotional feeling, whereas motivating is more of like a call to action.
Right, doing something.
Yeah. So both are very important to me because one without the other is, I think, doesn't matter.
Right.
You have to be inspired, but you also have to be motivated to go and do. That is my overall purpose, and I think that along with the attitude, the positive attitude is what matters most. Because if I can do that, and if I can make someone but if I can influence someone to be more positive, just in general, even if they're still struggling to find their calling or passion, a person living a positive, happy life is attractive.
Right.
A person living a negative, pessimistic life is not attractive.
Right.
And they're only bringing people down. So I'm not here to bring anyone down. And that's why you never, ever, ever hear me bring my competitors down. You only hear me uplifting my competitors. And those are the ones that I'm battling the most in this life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to this idea of brotherhood and community that you were talking about.
Because like I was telling you earlier, if I wanted to, I could nitpick every single one of my competitors and tell you their flaws, but I don't. I say, congratulations, champ.
Yeah, and like you said, the important lesson is you have to be willing and able to nitpick yourself to see what the flaws are to strengthen
because there's
yourself.
only one person that you can control in this world. That is you.
Right. And so, passion, calling, that has to come first. But when did you realize what your purpose was? Was it something you've always known or something you've come to realize later in life?
It's something I come to realize later because it was all selfishness, all about me. I defined everything but my purpose.
Huh.
And then once I would say within the last couple of years, my eyes started opening to there has to be something greater than just doing what I'm doing. There has to be a greater reason for doing what I'm doing than just trying to earn that title or just be a better bodybuilder. I have to be really making an impact on this world. Otherwise, this is truly what I believe. And I might catch some heat for saying this, but I really think that as bodybuilders, strictly as a bodybuilder, we're kind of a waste. And don't just take it for that. Bodybuilding alone means nothing to this world. Me eating chicken and rice and doing my cardio and training and my physique alone, if I were to just be doing that alone, I would be a waste. But if I'm able to use this platform to do something greater in my community and this world, now I'm fulfilling a purpose.
Yeah. And so look, the way you put it, it's pretty clear. And it's not just bodybuilding. It could be powerlifting. It could be being a lawyer, a doctor, or anything where you do it for yourself without this idea of giving back, right?
If you're doing something for yourself, I'm not going to say you're a waste. Maybe that was a little harsh of a word.
No, I don't think so. But I think people understood.
But I think there's a huge piece missing here. You have so much more potential to be doing something great with your life. And you could be doing something great on this earth while you're here.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes ago, you said a word that was really interesting to me, which was the word selfish. And I think a lot of people, both in the sport and outside the sport, think this, bodybuilding is very selfish. And it is. But I like your take on selfishness because if you truly want to manifest your calling into a purpose, then you have to use what you have. And the bigger that platform is, the more you can give back. So you need something to give back.
A really close friend of mine who he's like a brother to me.
Okay.
And he said this to me once. He said, Derek, because I was actually saying, I was like, man, I just feel greedy when I want more for myself. And he said, no. He said, and people know about my faith in Christ. And he said, look, God wants to bless you. He wants to bless your life, because you're a good person. You're doing great things. He said, Derek, it's a blessing to be a blessing. I said, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's a blessing to be a blessing. It means the more that you're blessed in this life, the more you can bless other people. So that's the giving back. So that's why now I realize that another goal in my life is to achieve more for myself, which sounds selfish.
Right.
But it's really so I can give back to the people around me, whether it's my friends, family, or just anyone who supports me in any way, who's been there for me. If that is something materialistic, or maybe that's an opportunity, or maybe it's something else. I don't know. Me giving back means so much more to me than to get more for myself. So that selfishness of bodybuilding or having more is only so that I can give back more.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, if you're the bodybuilder who's training, prepping
and believe
for a
me,
show.
My friends and family appreciate it. They see it.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's a kind of selfishness, right? But you take the success that comes from it, and then they're kind of like building blocks, which you then refashion to give back or pay it forward.
Exactly. And then in hopes that whoever I'm giving it to, whether it is actual material things or if it's opportunity or whatever it might be, hopefully they can do the same for someone else. And that same friend that said it's a blessing to be a blessing, he's done many things for me in my life. And, there was times where I said, I don't know how to repay you, man. He goes, just promise me that, if somebody else can use help, that you will help them. And I think that, he's another huge influence in my life at the right time to be who I am today.
So, it really all ties back together to this centrality of community to you, right? In other words, the more you give back, the more that community builds, the community gives back to you, you grow, and it's just a virtuous circle.
And if you want to look at it selfishly, then the more you build up the team around you, the more you're going to have. I mean, if you really think selfishly, then you can think of it like that, but that's not how I think. I just love to see the people around me who have done so much for me. I just love to see them happy and be able to give back to them.
Yeah, but I have to ask, Derek,
yeah.
Is it easy to sometimes mistake doing something that is purely selfish versus the kind of selfishness we're talking about, which is the way that you get something to give back? Is it easy to make that mistake or not for you? No.
Yeah, it is difficult. I have to be honest. Sometimes I think I am doing things for myself too much. And then that's when I think that, not that I think, that's whenever that the close people around me that I'm talking about right now reassure me that no, just keep doing what you're doing and you're just being blessed. It's okay. It's okay to have more for yourself. I'll say this, materials, money, nice things, that does not get me up in the morning. It doesn't. I mean, it's something that I want to achieve in my life and I hope to have and I expect, hopefully in the future that I have nice things because it is a goal of mine, but it's not what gets me up in the morning, you know? Giving back and living my life the right way is what gets me up in the morning.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's that kind of success you're talking about. If you live your life right, it's the byproduct of how you lived your life.
Right. And the thing is like, now we can talk a little business if you want, because I'm sure there's viewers out there that are into business and get motivated by that. But so a huge goal of mine is to be able to create more opportunity and create more business opportunity for the people that are in my life. So none of us are asking for handouts. We're wanting to create more opportunity to work harder and do more things for our communities. If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense, and it's a great way to end things. And this was a great conversation. I really love talking to you about passion, calling, and purpose. And again, I think for the listeners out there, it's not just about bodybuilding. It's whatever you choose and how you want to be great and what kind of legacy you want to leave behind. And that's what we were talking about today.
Absolutely, 100%.
And if you can learn something from this conversation, apply it to your life, great. That's what we're here to do. And once again, Derek, thanks so much for spending the time talking to me about your ideas. Raising your awareness for yourself, realizing your potential, and hopefully some of our listeners got some important insights as well. Thanks so much, Derek.
Thank you.
All right. Until the next episode of Animal Pakcast, this is Phil, Animal Mentality, signing off. Thanks a lot.